It's absolutely wonderful. Ciao and welcome. The other day I made some Mediterranean lentil burgers, and when I cooked the lentils I had some of the water left over, and I referred to it as liquid gold, and I promised that I would think of something and make a meal. So today I've decided to make a Mediterranean lentil risotto. This is a recipe which is based on a Mediterranean lentil pasta. My stock has been in the fridge and I'm now warming it up. Some olive oil in a frying pan. I've just chopped very finely an onion, a clove of garlic and also a carrot. The other day somebody asked me, why do you use such a big knife? You can see why, it's so handy. Bay leaf, very important in Sicilian cooking. Followed by some fresh plum tomatoes or cherry tomatoes if you wish. I'll raise the temperature slightly and I'll mix them together so that they combine for about 5 minutes until the onions have softened up. And as soon as the onions have softened up, I will add 1 tablespoon of tomato puree. This is tomato puree, and I'll mix it all together. And the purpose of the tomato puree is to give a little bit more color, but also to bring a little bit more acidity with the sweetness of the onions. These are fresh spinach which I have just picked from our vegetable patch, but also you can use frozen spinach or any leafy greens such as chard or kale or even spring greens, whatever you like, as long as it's leafy and it is green. Quick rough chop and I'll bring it in. My lentil stock from the other day is nice and hot, so I'm going to add a couple of ladles so that I can cook my spinach. I'll put the lid on and 3 to 4 minutes and the spinach will drastically reduce. Here I've got another batch of uncooked lentils which I have soaked for 24 hours and changed the water 3 times, but I do not want all of them. There's too many for my risotto, so I want approximately a couple of 100 grams, maybe just over. That's it, perfect. 230 grams will do fine. I will boil the rest in water with the bay leaf and leave them to cool down, and then we can sprinkle them on salad or as a side dish. They're just lovely. A little salt and pepper, perfect. And my spinach should have gone down drastically, and it has. And I still got a little water, which is perfect. I can add all of my lentils now and I'll mix them all together, but I will not be adding any more stock for the time being because I want the lentils to absorb as much of the stock which is in there already. And look, after 5 minutes the stock has either been absorbed by the lentils or some will have also evaporated, and that is good time to add some salt. I'll put half a teaspoon and a little pepper as well to taste. Clearly you don't want to burn them, but you want them to scream for more stock, which we can give to them now. So I'm going to add now a generous amount, most probably I can add actually it all looking at it. There you go, all goes in. And as the stock is lovely and warm already, it's boiling straight away, so I'll place the lid on and I'll turn it down on to medium now, and I will leave it to simmer for about 20 minutes and then we can move on to the rice. 20 minutes on, let's check the lentils. Well, they look done, and bearing in mind that they did soak for a good 24 hours, they will not require more than 20 minutes I would have thought, but let's just taste it. Oh, they're perfect. Both in terms of dewiness, but also salt is just really perfect. You can eat these as they are, by the way, as a soup if you like, or you can add pasta. Generally people actually add pasta, but I fancy rice today. You can also add orzo pasta if you fancy something which looks like rice but is not quite rice. I'll show it to you. And here it is, I'll show it to you in this camera, so hopefully you can see better. So it looks like rice, but it's pasta. In Italian this is called lingua di passero, which stands for sparrow's tongue. You can see the resemblance. But anyway, I will be doing rice today. I also remember that I always keep some vegetable stock in my fridge, and I decided to start cooking the remaining lentils, so I'll use it if I need to top up the stock as I add my rice to the rest of the ingredients here. This is arborio rice, by the way, and you can use any rice you like. I don't think it really matters for this recipe. I'll carry on mixing it though, and I'll stay quite vigilant. I do not want it to dry too much, and occasionally I'll top it up with some of the stock. If you do not have enough stock or you do not fancy making additional stock, you can either use hot water, but make sure that it's hot before you top it up, or you can make some stock with a little stock cube, some vegetable stock cube. Also making this as a vegetarian meal today, but if you fancy you can add some sausages, and the time to add them is when you are frying the garlic and the onions together. Just chop a couple of sausages and away you go. When you cook risotto like this, it is important that you take your time. Keep the temperature on a medium and continue mixing. Remember, you are in charge. You can moderate and manage how much liquid you add. You're making a risotto, not a broth, so you do ensure that you do not put too much liquid and then you'll end up with a broth. And as it starts drying up, I will top it up with a little bit more stock. I'll put a couple of ladles and I'll continue mixing it, and it'll be about 3 to 4 minutes before I'll need to top it up again, and then I'll carry on until the rice is cooked. And it is ready, and it has taken me 20 minutes to cook the rice, which is not too bad at all. I'm now giving it a final stir before I add a little parsley, and this is parsley I keep in the freezer, and I freeze it when it's fresh, and it remains fresh forever. I mentioned earlier that this is a vegetarian recipe, but of course it is also very suitable for vegans, unless you add any cheese, of course. I will not be adding any cheese today though, just some olive oil. One final mix to combine the parsley and the oil together, and we are ready to eat. And as I mentioned earlier, when you cook risotto, you want something which is not liquidy and a little bit sloppy, like this. It's perfect. If you look here, it's absolutely wonderful. And you can tell that it's not liquidy as it's retaining its shape. And I'm ready to taste it. I've added a little more olive oil on the top and also some parsley to garnish, and let's take a look. Oh God, it's delicious. Genuinely, really, really nice. You do not need to add any cheese, no cream. It's creamy enough as it is. I can only give you 2 tips really. Number 1, make it. It would be a shame not to. And number 2 is if you can get hold of some vegetable stock before you make it, will add considerable amount of flavor. It's really earthy because of the vegetables I've added, especially the spinach, but also it's very well balanced. And if you cannot be bothered and you want to use water, that's fine as well. But if you can make a little vegetable stock, it will go a long way. Make it, you will be absolutely in love with it. Thank you for watching, arrivederci and buon appetito. Ciao ciao.